If you're sitting in this audience today and you're not happy, and I mean this, like really ask yourself, are you happy? It's really been interesting to me to find something that works, which is you have to change who you're listening to. To me, the concern I have and why I've started this talk the way I have is because I'm concerned about what you're gonna say. A lot of people don't know what to say. They're insecure. Why would somebody listen to me? And so what they start to do is fake it. They start to pretend they're an expert. They start to wear clothes that makes it look like they're successful. They fake it. It will never work. It will never work. What you're much better off doing is documenting your journey. You don't need to be an expert. You need to be honest. If you notice, sometimes I said it earlier, if I talk about the same stuff, and once in a while somebody will leave a comment, or even here will be like, Gary, you talk about the same shit. And I look at them like, do you want me to lie and make up shit? Of course I talk about the same shit because I've been running businesses for 20 plus years and it works. And when I look at other businesses that work, they're doing the same thing I'm doing. And then when I look at other things, I see businesses sometimes that work for a year and then collapse because it's what I've been talking to you about for the first 15 minutes, which is if you're gonna be built on shit, you're gonna sink. You like that one? That's a good one. I like it too. Like a shit, it's soft. I get it. Judgment is very interesting to me. I've come to realize in the last 3 years that it is judgment that is stopping 90% of this audience. Especially when you go into different subcultures, it is scary to me how many of you are not doing things because you're worried about what your parents would think. You're worried about disappointing your parents. You're worried about the leverage your parents have. And that is unbelievably true in every culture, but obviously quite true in this culture. Judgment is the number one thing that I need to break you out of for you to even begin to make content on social networks. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be right. You need to stay in your lane. You need to talk about what you know. You need to talk about what you're passionate about. You gotta talk about either what you like or what you know. But you can't worry about the comments. Are you really gonna live your life based on somebody anonymous saying that you're ugly or not smart? Yet almost everybody does. The amount of people that refuse to post or stopped posting because of a negative comment is remarkable, or because of a snarky comment by their brother or best friend or girlfriend. It's remarkable to me how grateful I am, how thankful I am that I was parented in a way that built self-esteem, confidence. And I'm grateful and also sad by how many aren't. And the only way I know how to break it is to push positivity and optimism and practical positivity into the ecosystem. If you're sitting in this audience today and you're not happy, and I mean this, like really ask yourself, are you happy? It's really been interesting to me to find something that works, which is you have to change who you're listening to. If you're sitting in this audience today and you're not happy, you have to change who you're listening to. It's scary to me that 85% of the people that are here today are here for one reason. They're looking for something because most likely a parent put them in a position that hasn't allowed them to feel fully comfortable. And so what has gotten me more motivated than ever around this subject matter is this, and I'm gonna keep going back to it. I would not be giving this keynote 20 years ago because living a life around putting out content on a platform that could reach so many people wasn't real. When the internet wasn't here, it was harder to do what you love. It was harder to be practical. You couldn't work your day job and then start a whole nother big career after because it was late at night and the internet didn't exist, so there was no scale. What, we're gonna open a store that was only open from 9 p.m. to midnight? It wasn't practical. It is now. We're so used to headlines now. People walk around society feeling very comfortable talking about shit they don't know.
Well, that's the one thing
I
you notice.
come on here and I'm like, I don't know how brokerages work. I'm comfortable saying I don't know Wall Street. I don't give a fuck. The only reason I even have any stock is because my private investments went public. Other than that, it doesn't make me happy. I think it's very logical to invest in it. I also think real estate is logical. I don't invest in that either. It doesn't make me happy.
But baseball cards certainly do.
Happy as fuck. Specifically basketball.
How much TV do you watch?
Very little.
I figured that. You just feel like you're just going.
I spend almost all my time consuming people. What my people will tell you is that's what my great gift is. That it's funny. I talk a lot. I'm sure people that listen to your podcast are like, get this fucking guy off. He's talking over Michael. I get it, because I'm so rarely talking, actually. But everybody thinks I'm always talking because I'm so good at content creation and distribution that I'm everywhere. But it's not. It's in a very limited window. Like, I do a podcast. I'm gonna get like 8,000 pieces of content out of this. But I'm really spending 15 hours a day operating and listening. You two know this. But so I've come to realize I'm a really interesting enigma. Like, I'll spend 3 hours in one subreddit listening.
Interesting.
I'll spend 4 hours in a Discord listening. I'll spend years in Twitter and Instagram reading just the comments. I knew more about Cardi B before I'd even listened to one of her songs because I was listening to people conversating around. And that's how my brain works. So I like learning from documentaries. I love history because I use it. Hence, where did the printing press come from? The fact that history was the only class I was good at in my entire educational life. The fact that most of the TV I watch is documentaries. I like using history to tell me the future. And then I like being in the dirt and putting in the work to listen, to take the data points and filter it through history for the future. And that is where my success comes from.
How do you unwind? Ever? Do you ever unwind?
I unwind. The New York Jets allow me to unwind tremendously. I'm being dead serious. People laugh at this, but caring so much about something that means nothing is an incredible way
they
to
say
unwind.
they say this. There's studies that say rabid sports fans have better mental health because they get all their anger and all their shit out by screaming at the goddamn horrible team they're rooting for.
So I need to do a little homework on that studies, because I actually think I understand the world through the lens of a Jets fan. Let me explain. I struggle hating people, including right now when it's easier than ever for people to hate each other. But I hate Bill Belichick. And I really actually feel it. Like when I go to Foxborough and go in the stadium, the things that go through my mind are the things that people call each other in politics. But in politics, I would never do that. So I'm irrational in sports because it doesn't mean anything. And then I think about people being irrational in life because it means something. And so I'm like this bizarro reverse. I'm my worst self in football and basketball.
Have you ever been to a UK soccer game?
I have, and I love that shit because they're my people.
It's just
because
crazy.
They really care. I think American sports fans don't care enough.
Yeah, they care.
They care, like in the UK, they like football, soccer,
right.
as we say it, around the world speaks to me a lot because they care the way I care about the Jets. I think in America, we have a slightly healthier macro relationship around fandom. I just don't. Like I go to a.
So you like I love they have the chain link fences between the two.
I'm the least confrontational person, believe it or not, even though in video but in real life. But I want to physically fight. Like I've done the least nice things that I know about myself have been done at Jet football games the last 10 years.
You could be a good Philadelphia fan too.
Do you know that I genuinely love Philadelphia sports because of it? And we both hate the Giants.
I went down with one of the owners of the Giants, one of the sons of the owners of the Giants, when we were working 15 years ago. We had Giants jackets. He gave me this beautiful Giants jacket. We'd flown a helicopter down. We're walking through the stadium parking lot, and the cop says, "Dude, you should take that off." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I'm a wrestler." He's like, "Take it off." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Take it off, cop, big cop." So I took it off and carried it in, and
Same thing
then I understood. I'd never seen that. Then I understood what they were talking about.
By the way, I have this, you know, if you're listening, Raiders playoff game, Chad Pennington, that year we go to Raiders, we're in our Jets jersey, cop goes, "Take the jerseys off." I'm in my combat fucking war zone mood. I'm like, "No." And I looked at him and said, "Officer, I'd rather die." And I wore my jersey, and it got scary, to be honest. It was some scary ass shit.
I wasn't as tough as you. I took that Giants thing up, wrapped it up. I wasn't even that big of a Giants fan.
I'm literally tough nowhere. You can punk me, society, you can punk me anywhere except a football stadium. I'd rather die. Everybody thinks there's a right way. There is no right way. There's only your way. Some people are great at writing, others are not. Some people are comfortable in front of a camera, others are not. Some people are good at talking, others are not. The fact that you have the ability to control how you put out information based on what you're good at is remarkable. I don't want you to have a video blog if you're not comfortable in front of a camera. It's the reason I don't write. All my written content is Rogoff on my team taking the transcription of my audio. I can't write. I've written 5 New York Times bestselling books and I can't write. I'm serious. This is important. I have a top 100 podcast and I don't sit down and do a podcast. I strip the audio out of my vlog. Can we hear it for D-Rock? He's sitting on the ground. I deploy self-awareness and self-esteem to reverse engineer myself to put myself in a position to succeed. It is my great hope that I can inspire people to do the same, but it starts with being self-aware and having self-esteem.